I died the morning my sister walked down the aisle. White satin dress, cathedral-length veil, and, of course, my boyfriend waiting for her at the altar. Mom flooded my phone with calls until voicemail gave up. When I didn't answer, she snapped at whoever was nearby. Ungrateful little brat. Zach blew up my messages. You're still hung up on a breakup from 2 years ago? Grow up and get your ass here. Dad, the coldest man I knew, warned Zach. Text her again, and if she stays away, she's no daughter of mine. But none of them truly wanted me there. They just wanted perfect wedding photos. No empty spot where the maid of honor was supposed to be. Too bad, I was already gone. I learned early on I was the odd sock in the Harper family drawer. Mom returned from a sales trip in Denver with 2 new Hot Wheels sets, handed one to Zach, one to Jenna, and just turned away. I tugged her blazer, whispering, "Mom, what about me?" She scowled as if I'd handed her a cockroach. "Sweetie, those aren't cheap. Maybe next time." I was 5, but I could already taste disappointment in the air. Fast forward. Hilton Lakeside Ballroom, Jenna's wedding day. Mom finished flattering the relatives, slipped behind a ficus, and hit redial like a broken record. Straight to voicemail. After the 3rd try, my phone blocked her calls. She stared at the screen, breath catching. "Tessa, I'm your mother." Zach draped an arm over her shoulders. "Mom, come on.
Tessa's always been like this.
Not worth the stress." And there it was, Mom's favorite scapegoat, called out by her golden boy. Out of all my kids, I nearly died giving birth to her. The doctors said she stole nutrients from her twin brother just to survive. Heard it 1,000 times. Usually ended with me grounded while the perfect 4 got ice cream. "Relax, Mom. I'll drag her here if I have to." Zach fired off another round of texts. 60 minutes.
Show up.
You know Mom's heart's bad, right?
He's just a guy, Tess.
Jenna's still your sister. Then even he ran out of fake anger and put his phone away. Because let's be honest, Jenna was the shining star, Mom and Dad's golden child. Me, just an afterthought. I drifted upstairs, one perk of being dead, and found Jenna in the bridal suite. Makeup artist wiping away tears, Dad kneeling by her side. "Dad, will Tessa really skip my wedding? She's my baby sister. I need her blessing." Mr. Iceberg softened enough to squeeze her hand. "No way, sweetheart. Zach's on it. Today will be perfect." In the hall, he cornered Zach. "Tell Tessa, if she doesn't come, she's out of this family for good. She's ghosting all of us, Dad. Even Mom's calls." Zach's jaw tightened. I knew it. She never had a conscience. Said she'd come just to ruin Jenna's big day. Today was Jenna's big day. Vera Wong mermaid gown, 10-piece string quartet, and Finn Sawyer waiting like a perfect magazine cover. 2 years ago, I brought Finn home for Thanksgiving. Jenna fell for him before the turkey was even carved. I remember her eyes shining as she took me on a late-night Starbucks walk, arms linked. "I'm crazy about guys like Finn, Tess. You're amazing. You'll find someone better. Let me have him, okay?" I said no. A week later, Finn dumped me. I begged for a reason. He grew tired of the questions and pushed me away. I hit the pavement, palms scraped, pride shattered. He looked at me like I was stuck gum. "Still pretending? Your own family told me everything." One random Saturday, Mom dragged me on a grocery run. Behind the produce aisle, Zach spilled the truth to Finn.
Thief.
Bully. Promiscuous mess. Secret abortion sophomore year. He finished with a self-righteous sigh. "She's my sister, but I can't watch you ruin your future." Sitting on the asphalt, palms bleeding, I listened as Finn repeated their poison back at me. I just laughed. He frowned. "You gonna deny it?" I shook my head. Every word's gospel, apparently. Finn never loved me that much to begin with. Why question blood relatives? My beloved family never cared while I was breathing. Why would they notice I'm gone? Finn Sawyer shows up looking like a GQ cover, tailored charcoal suit, hair shellacked into Wall Street perfection. He plants a showy kiss on Jenna's cheek and whispers, "Tess still MIA?" Jenna's lashes shimmer with staged tears. She nods. "Forget her," Finn snaps, voice dropping to a growl. "Trash like that would just stink up the ceremony. Baby, you're the bride. Save your tears for people who matter." She loops her arms around his neck, gazes up like a Hallmark angel. "She's still my sister, Finn." She sounds sincere as she did 3 years ago when she blew up my college graduation. Back then the dean wanted a cute photo op, best-in-class student and her proud parents on stage. I rehearsed that ask 100 times before calling home. Mom said sure. Day of the ceremony, she rang at dawn. Jenna's sick. Can't leave her alone. FaceTime popped up, Jenna pale, blanket wrapped, doing her soft-voiced martyr routine. So sorry, Tessie. You're tough, you've got this. Break a leg. Happy graduation.
Yeah, happy.
I spent the morning apologizing to my advisor, the dean, the camera crew, who had to rearrange the program. I walked past a hot mic and caught a cameraman bitching. Whole schedule's blown because Miss Perfect can't get her family to show. Some valedictorian. On my way out, I checked Insta. Jenna had already posted a cutesy pic. Little head cold, but mom and dad tucked me in with soup and love, #blessed. Shot in her own bedroom. No doctor visit. So tragic. Inside the Oakmont Country Club ballroom, a baby grand pumps out some sappy John Legend cover. Jenna glides down the aisle in a mermaid Vera Wang, lugging a bucket-sized bouquet of white roses toward Finn. Mom and dad give their syrupy toast. Then it's Zach's turn. He grabs the mic and shadow boxes at Finn. I got one big sister. Total family treasure. Screw her over, and we all come for your kneecaps, dude. Finn, eyes glued to Jenna, like she's the only oxygen in the room, murmurs. Wouldn't dream of it. Cue thunderous applause. Cue Instagram-ready smiles. I'm perched on a spray of hydrangeas, ghost light cold, just staring. I should hurt, but maybe I ran out of pain the night I died. At table 9, 2 aunts whisper. Didn't the Harpers have 3 kids? Yeah, but the middle girl, Tessa? Total head case. Brains for days, 0 morals. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for the stellar PR. Not everyone despised me once. Aunt Linda used to be decent. One Christmas she gave me a plush dolphin. Mine alone, not a matching set. Zach demanded a turn. I refused, so he shredded it with scissors. Aunt Linda walked back in for her forgotten scarf. Found flipper confetti all over the carpet. Mom jumped in. Tess hated the toy. Said it was ugly. Hacked it up herself. Aunt Linda's smile iced over. Every New Year after that, she slid my red envelope to Zach instead. Guilt nipped Mom for maybe 3 weeks, then dissolved like cheap bourbon. In our house, love was doled out on a spreadsheet. Jenna equals Dad's lucky charm. His company boomed the year she was born. Zach equals Mom's miracle son after 2 girls, her forever baby. Me equals the twin who lived while my brother died in the NICU. Walking jinx. I never understood why their cravings shaped the menu. Zach wants steak? Porterhouse tomorrow. Jenna mentions crab legs? Suddenly Dad's booking Red Lobster for my birthday dinner, even though shellfish, sends me into hives. When I was 12, an earthquake rattled the county. Everyone napping, Dad scooped Zach. Mom grabbed Jenna, bolted downstairs. I sprinted after them under a ceiling that looked ready to pancake. Nobody came back for me. Same energy later, when Kyle North had his hands on my throat in a godforsaken patch of forest. But that's a chapter the living crowd hasn't read yet. Reception's over, guests gone. Dad's face flips to default scowl as soon as the getaway Tesla rolls off. Susan, keep calling Tessa. Jenna's eyes are glassy, diamond studs catching the light. She clutches Dad's arm, voice all sugar. Let it go, Dad. Tess is still a kid, throwing a tantrum. I'm her sister. I shouldn't hold it against her. Dad's heart visibly melts. Zach snorts. Sis, you're too damn nice. She ever treat you like family? Jenna bites her lip, almost crying. Oscar level. I watch, equal parts numb and amused. No matter how much love they shovel onto Jenna, the pit inside her screams for more, because as long as I exist, she's not the only daughter.
And she hates that.
Truth is, Mom wasn't always a monster. On my birthdays, she'd bring home a store-bought cake. She lit the candles once. I inhaled to make a wish, and Jenna burst into tears. She dabbed away fake sobs, smiling bravely. Nothing. Just remembered today should have been 2 birthdays. Mom's face hardened. I hadn't even blown out the flames before she yanked every candle, snarling. All you think about is stuffing your face. Your twin brother died because of you. Have you no shame? I froze. Mom swept the whole cake into the trash. With the audience gone, Jenna dropped the Disney act. 10-year-old grin, sweet as antifreeze. Tess, why were you even born? Mom and Dad loved me alone. You should have died with your brother. She pinched my cheek hard enough to bruise, still smiling. When Zach arrived 3 years later, she adored him. Go figure. Senior year, with Zach entering 8th grade, Mom ordered me to pick a local college so I could babysit. I told her no. Her eyes went arctic. Do you ever think about this family? The month I left for the University of Chicago, 22-year-old Jenna suddenly needed piano lessons. Mom gutted my bedroom, trashed my bed and dresser, stacked my clothes in garbage bags, wheeled in a glossy black Steinway. Jenna posted a Reels clip, sun-drenched smile, manicured fingers gliding over ivory. Hashtag new hobby, hashtag grateful. I called home. Mom, still pissed, said flatly, "Your wings are grown. Room's pointless if you're never here." Jenna grabbed the phone. "Tess, don't stress, Mom, okay? Crash with me when you're home. There's always space." Tiny lilt of laughter she couldn't hide. I'd been gone 30 days, and she was thrilled to evict my ghost. Mom Green lit the whole plan. That's the Harper household. Love as a zero-sum game, and I was the math error nobody wanted on the spreadsheet. Jenna and Finn roared off to their shiny new McMansion. Mom, Dad, and Zach piled into Zach's Chevy Tahoe. The front seat throne, always Jenna's spot, sat empty. I hovered like cold breath above the passenger airbag while the happy trio dissected my crimes. Mom sagged against Dad's shoulder, eyes puffy. She hates me, hates this family, couldn't even show up for her sister's wedding. Dad rubbed her arm. "Stop hurting yourself over a feral stray. Some dogs just can't be house-trained." I studied their faces, hunting for a flicker of worry. Nothing. My sudden radio silence registered as pure annoyance, never concern. Not one of them wondered. Maybe Tess is dead in a ditch. I started crying. Yeah, ghosts can leak. Then I laughed through the tears. "Mom, did you ever actually love me? If you did, why the hell did you bother having me?" Same question I'd hurled back in 9th grade. The year everything almost felt normal. Dad was on the road chasing contracts. Jenna a college freshman. Zach still a scrawny middle school brat. Mom got nailed with kidney stones. I sprinted between classes and St. Luke's Hospital till my jeans practically slid off. She bragged to nosy neighbors that I was so dedicated. Even spotted me extra lunch money. A bully problem? She marched into school and lit the principal up. For a hot minute I thought, maybe we'll make it. Then one dusk we crossed Maple Avenue. She slipped her arm through mine. Mother-daughter sitcom stuff. Instinct punched me. I shook her off and she stumbled. Horns blared. A Civic skimmed our knees, and her eyes iced over again. Figures. Stray mutt can't even handle affection. That night guilt chewed me raw. I jabbed compass points into my forearm just to bleed out the panic. I finally crept to her bedroom. "If you don't love me, Mom, why'd you let me be born?" She pretended to sleep. Same silence now, only colder. After dinner, Zach rang my cell. Maybe the 1000th time, and somebody answered. He exploded. "Tess, you psycho. Jenna's wedding. Mom crying her lungs out. Think this is funny?" A gravelly male voice cut in. "I'm her boyfriend. She says y'all are disgusting and she's never coming back. Quit calling."
Click.
Zach stared at the phone like it bit him, then kicked a dining room chair across the tile. Rage echoed off drywall.
Me?
I went rigid. That voice. Instant wormhole back to that night. I'd missed the last Amtrak out of Chicago after an overtime slog, grabbed a rideshare to the Greyhound depot. Driver was a ghost pale 20-something with sunken eyes, familiar but unplaceable. I collapsed against the window. Small talk, standard stuff until Jenna rang, needing one more jab before beauty sleep. "Tess, I'm marrying Finn tomorrow. I'm too excited to crash. Thanks for introducing us." My fists clenched. "Jesus, Jenna, how many dirty plays until you're bored?" She just giggled. "See ya at the altar." I hung up, lungs burning. Driver glanced over. Trouble with family? That's when I noticed. No highway signs. Just black cornfields and a lonely 2-lane slicing nowhere, Illinois. Heart hammered. I steadied my voice. "Look, if you're planning a scam, I've got cash." He wanted more than cash. Sleep deprived, limbs jelly, I never stood a chance. He clamped a hand over my mouth and hauled me into a stand of oaks off the road. Night air dead still. Moonlight silver. He throttled me. Slapped until my ears rang. "Remember me, bitch? Bet you regret ditching me for that rich kid." He wanted me to beg, bark like a dog. I'd never seen him in my life. But something about his face, maybe a coffee shop barista, a guy on the corner, couldn't pin it. Clawing dirt, I found my phone. Mashed the last dial key. Ring, ring. Jenna let it go, then hit decline. He smirked, pocketed the phone, snapped every finger on my right hand. Then came the switchblade. He sawed my left wrist, peeled skin off my cheek like wet wallpaper. Let's see you seduce anybody with that face. No clue if I died from shock or blood loss. Only remember the prairie wind screaming across raw flesh. Dying yanks weird memories. 5-year-old me on Grandma Lillian's Indiana farm. She sautéed spring ramps and eggs just for me, swore the patch was too small for Jenna's appetite. Mom called demanding ramps for Princess Jenna. Grandma winked. Sorry, crop failed this year. Best taste I ever knew. Grandma died that fall, cancer. Mom dragged me back to suburbia and whispered to Dad, kid must be cursed, buried her own grandma. 5-year-olds don't grasp mortality. I just knew no one else would ever pick me first. Wind ripped my soul loose. I floated above the scene. Kyle North dragged a hatchet from his trunk, hacked my joints for easier burial. I saw a freight train slice through silent cornfields, lights blinking like distant galaxies. I saw some random condo kid wake screaming, parents rushing in to cradle her. I saw Jenna yawn at dawn, Mom ushering her into the beaded gown.
Yeah.
I came back, dead, and still showed up for Jenna's big day. The Tahoe's headlights carved through the dark as Zach drove, Mom and Dad murmuring in the back seat like I was a puzzle they'd never solve. I hovered, invisible, my ghost form flickering like a bad signal. The air in the car was thick with their resentment, but not a single whisper of grief. They didn't know I was gone, really gone, and they didn't care enough to wonder. Zach's phone buzzed, shattering the silence. He glanced at the screen, then tossed it onto the passenger seat where I lingered. A text from Finn. Jenna's asking about Tess again. Tell her to chill, yeah? Zach's knuckles whitened on the wheel, but he didn't reply. Instead, he muttered, she's probably shacked up with that creep who answered her phone. Typical Tess. Mom's voice cracked from the back. She's always been selfish. Always. I gave her everything, my blood, my pain, and she throws it in my face. Dad grunted, his usual shorthand for agreement. Should have cut her off years ago. Save us the headache. I wanted to scream, to claw at their faces, to make them see me. But ghosts don't get tantrums. My voice was just a shiver in the air, my hands passing through their world like smoke. The injustice of it burned. How they'd rewritten me as the villain. How they'd never once questioned their own cruelty. I was the odd sock, the cursed twin, the mistake they couldn't erase fast enough. Back at their house, Mom collapsed onto the couch, her mascara smudged into raccoon rings. Zach poured her a glass of Merlot, his face a mask of dutiful son. Dad paced, muttering about family loyalty and disrespect. I drifted to the mantel, where a single photo from Jenna's wedding sat in a silver frame. Jenna glowing, Finn smirking, Zach and my parents beaming. No empty chair, no trace of me. They'd already cropped me out. I thought of Grandma Lillian's farm. The way her hands smelled of earth and time, the only place I'd ever felt chosen. If I'd had a body, my chest would have ached. Instead, I felt a hollow pull, like gravity yanking me towards something unfinished. I didn't know what tethered me here. Anger, maybe, or the faint hope someone would notice I was gone. But the Harpers weren't built for remorse. Zach's phone rang again. He answered, voice sharp. What now, Jenna? Her voice spilled through the speaker, sugary but strained. Just checking if you heard from Tess.
I'm worried, Zach.
She's never this quiet. I froze. Jenna? Worried? The same Jenna who'd laughed off my pain, who'd stolen Finn and my room, and every scrap of love I might have claimed. For a second, I almost believed her. Then I remembered her crocodile tears, her knack for playing the saint while twisting the knife. Zach sighed.
She's fine, Jen.
Probably off sulking with that sketchy boyfriend. You focus on your honeymoon. Jenna's voice softened. A perfect act. You're right. I want her to be okay, you know? She's still my sister. The word sister hit like a slap. I wanted to laugh, to cry, to rip the phone from Zach's hand and scream. You never wanted a sister. You wanted a shadow to step on. But I was just a ghost, tethered to their lies, watching them rewrite my absence as another crime. I followed Zach to his apartment, a sleek downtown loft Jenna had helped him pick out. He tossed his keys on the counter, cracked a beer, and sank into a leather couch that screamed bachelor with trust fund. I hovered near the ceiling, my ghost light dim, trying to piece together the voice from that call. I'm her boyfriend. Gravelly, smug, familiar. It clawed at me, dragging me back to that cornfield, to Kyle North's switchblade and his sneer.
Kyle.
I'd never known his name until he buried me, but his face haunted me now, pale, gaunt, with eyes like oil slicks. He'd known me, hated me, but why? I sifted through memories, searching for a connection. A barista, a classmate, a face in a crowd? Nothing clicked. Yet his rage had been personal, like I'd carved his heart out years ago. Zach's phone buzzed again. Another text from Finn. Dude, Jenna's freaking out. Keeps saying Tess wouldn't just vanish. Call her. Zach groaned, muttering, Get a grip, Jen. But he dialed anyway. I leaned closer, my ghostly form rippling with static. Zach, I'm serious. Jenna's voice crackled. Tess isn't answering. Not even a text. What if something's wrong? Zach snorted. Wrong? She's pulling her usual drama. You heard that guy on her phone. She's probably off with some loser, laughing at us. Jenna's pause was long, heavy. Maybe. But what if she's hurt? I know I've been awful to her, but she's still family. I wanted to believe her guilt, but Jenna's sincerity always came with strings. She'd cry, play the martyr, then turn around and stab me deeper. Still, her words stirred something, a crack in the Harper armor, a flicker of doubt. If Jenna suspected I was gone, would she care enough to dig? Or was this just another performance? Zach hung up, muttering about wasted energy. I drifted to his laptop, glowing on the coffee table. If I could touch anything, I'd have smashed it, but ghosts don't get to break things. Instead, I focused, willing my energy into something tangible. The screen flickered, a faint static hum. Zach frowned, tapped the keyboard, then shrugged and opened Netflix. I needed answers. Kyle North wasn't a random predator. He targeted me, known my family's dirt.
How?
I thought of the lies Zach fed Finn. Thief, bully, promiscuous mess. Had Kyle heard the same poison? Had someone painted a bullseye on my back long before that rideshare? I slipped through the wall, out into the night, drawn to the cornfield where I'd died. Maybe the answers were there, buried with my bones. The Illinois night was endless, stars sharp as broken glass. I materialized in the cornfield, the oaks looming like sentinels. The ground was undisturbed, no police tape, no search party. Just dirt and silence, my grave unmarked. I knelt where Kyle had left me, my ghost form sinking into the earth. If I could feel, the cold would have bitten my bones. Flashes came unbidden, his hands on my throat, the blade sting, Jenna's declined call. But something else tugged at me, a memory just out of reach. Kyle's voice. Bet you regret ditching me for that rich kid. Rich kid? Finn? Or someone else? I clawed through my past, every face I'd ever known. A high school party, a blurry night, Kyle's face in the crowd, maybe watching me with someone else. A guy I'd brushed off, a friend of a friend. The wind stirred, carrying a faint hum. I turned, sensing a presence. Another ghost? No, just a flicker, a shadow in the oaks. My phone, lost in the dirt, its screen cracked but glowing. I focused, my energy buzzing, and the screen lit up. A text from an unknown number, timestamped the night I died. You'll pay for what you did to me, Tess. Nobody leaves Kyle North. My non-existent heart lurched. He'd planned this, stalked me.
But why?
I hadn't left anyone. I barely dated after Finn. The lies Zach spread, the ones Jenna amplified, had they reached Kyle somehow, twisted into a vendetta? I needed to know who he was, how he'd found me. I drifted back to the city, to Zach's apartment. He was asleep, beer bottle tipped over on the couch. His laptop was still open, a faint glow. I focused again, harder this time, my energy sparking. The browser blinked, opening a search bar. I couldn't type, but I willed the letters. Kyle North. The screen lagged, then loaded a mugshot. Kyle North, 27, arrested 3 years ago for assault, released on parole. A grainy photo. Pale skin, hollow eyes, the same sneer. He'd been at my high school, a senior when I was a freshman. I remembered him now, quiet, always sketching in the library, staring too long. I'd never spoken to him, never wronged him. But someone had fed him a story, convinced him I'd ruined his life. Jenna and Finn's McMansion was a beige monstrosity, all columns and manicured lawns. I slipped through the walls, finding Jenna in a silk robe, staring at her phone. Finn was upstairs, snoring loud enough to rattle the chandelier. Jenna's thumbs hovered over my contact, her face pale. No makeup, no audience, she looked almost human. Tess, she whispered, like a prayer. Where are you? For a second, I wanted to believe her, but then I saw the photo on her nightstand. Her and Finn, laughing, my face cropped out of the frame. She'd always been good at editing me away. Her phone buzzed, a text from Zach. Stop obsessing.
She's fine.
Jenna's lips trembled, but she didn't cry. Instead, she opened Instagram, scrolling through her wedding photos. She paused on one. Her and Mom, laughing, no trace of me. She typed a caption. Family is everything. Grateful for my tribe. Posted it. Smiled. Rage surged through me, my ghost light flaring. The phone flickered, static crackling. Jenna yelped, dropping it. What the hell? She picked it up, checking for damage, then froze. My contact was open, a call log showing her declined call from the night I died. Her breath hitched. She dialed my number, hands shaking. It rang, then went to voicemail. Tess, it's me. Please, just call me back. I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? Stealing Finn? Erasing my room? Or something deeper? Something I hadn't seen yet? I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but I was just a ghost, trapped in her orbit. I followed her to the kitchen, where she poured a glass of wine, hands unsteady. Finn stumbled in, bleary-eyed. Still up? Jesus, Jen, let it go. Tess is probably passed out somewhere. Jenna's voice was small. What if she's not? What if she's gone? Finn laughed, cold. Gone? She's too stubborn to die. You're just guilty because you screwed her over. Jenna's eyes widened. What's that supposed to mean? He shrugged, grabbing a beer. You know what you did. We all do. I froze. Finn knew something, maybe everything. Had Jenna orchestrated more than I realized? Had she fed Kyle the lies, pointed him at me like a loaded gun? I trailed Finn the next day, his Tesla weaving through downtown traffic. He parked at a law firm, all glass and steel, and met a man in a tailored suit, his boss probably. I hovered, listening as they discussed a merger. Finn's voice smooth, confident. But his eyes kept darting to his phone, like he was waiting for something. Back at the office, he locked the door and opened a burner app. Encrypted, untraceable. A message popped up. She's still missing. You sure nobody saw? The sender was blocked, but Finn's reply was instant. Relax. Nobody's looking for her. My ghost form flickered, rage and fear colliding. Finn knew I was gone. Not just gone, murdered. Had he been part of it? I thought of Jenna's tears, her sudden guilt. Was it an act, or had she realized too late what she'd set in motion? I needed to see Kyle again to understand his role. I slipped back to the cornfield, the air heavy with dew. His face flashed in my mind. Those sketches in the library, always watching. I never noticed him, but someone had. Someone had turned his obsession into a weapon. The ground where I died pulsed, like a heartbeat. I focused, my energy sinking into the dirt. A glint, my phone, half buried. I willed it to light up, and it did, showing a photo I didn't remember. Me at a party, laughing, Kyle in the background, staring. Someone had sent it to him, captioned, "She's playing you, man. Dumped you for Finn." I hadn't dumped anyone. But the lie was clear now. Someone had convinced Kyle I'd broken his heart, used him, humiliated him. And that someone knew Finn, knew my family, knew how to twist the knife. I returned to Jenna's house, her guilt now a puzzle piece that didn't fit. She was in the backyard, pacing, phone pressed to her ear. Zach, I'm telling you, something's wrong. Tess wouldn't just disappear. Zach's voice was tinny through the speaker. You're paranoid. She's done this before. Remember her college stunt? Ghosted us for weeks. That was different, Jenna snapped. She was pissed, but she always texted back eventually. This feels final. I wanted to hate her, but her voice cracked with something real. Was it possible she hadn't known? I thought of Finn's burner app, his cryptic texts. If Jenna was innocent, Finn was playing her too. I followed her inside, where she dug through a box of old photos. She pulled one out, me and her, 10 years old, at Grandma Lillian's farm. We were laughing, arms linked, before the world turned us into enemies. Jenna's fingers traced my face, tears falling. I'm sorry, Tess. I was jealous. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Go this far. The words hit like a freight train. What had she done? I focused, my energy surging, and the photo frame cracked. Jenna gasped, dropping it. Tess, she whispered, looking around. I wanted to answer, to scream. What did you do? But ghosts don't get closure. I drifted to Finn's office, where he was typing furiously on his laptop. I leaned closer, my energy sparking the screen. A document opened, an email draft, unsent. Kyle, you went too far. She wasn't supposed to die. My world tilted. Finn had known Kyle had used him.
But why?
To get me out of the way? To protect Jenna's perfect life? I needed more, but the screen flickered, Finn cursing as it crashed. He didn't see me, but he felt something. His hands shook as he rebooted. Days bled into nights, my ghost form fading with every unanswered question. I followed Jenna everywhere. Her yoga classes, her coffee runs, her late-night cries when Finn wasn't home. She was unraveling, her guilt a live wire. Finn, meanwhile, grew colder, snapping at her over nothing. "Stop obsessing over Tess," he'd growl. "You're ruining our life." I wanted to shake her, to make her see Finn's lies. But ghosts don't get to play hero. Instead, I focused on Kyle, tracking him through the city's shadows. He was holed up in a dive bar, drinking himself numb, muttering about her and revenge. I hovered, listening, until a name slipped out. Zach. My brother. The golden boy who'd fed Finn lies about me, who'd painted me as a monster. Had he done the same to Kyle? I flashed back to high school. Zach. Always charming, always scheming. He'd known Kyle, hung out with his crowd. Had he seen Kyle's obsession and used it, fed him lies to set him off? I returned to Zach's apartment, finding him on the phone with Finn. "She's gone, man," Zach said, voice low. "Kyle did his job. Nobody's looking." Finn's reply was sharp. "Keep your mouth shut. Jenna's asking too many questions." I froze. Zach and Finn working together. But where did Jenna fit? Had she known, or was she just a pawn in their game? I thought of her tears, her cracked photo frame. Maybe she was guilty of jealousy, of cruelty, but not murder. Maybe she was as trapped as I'd been. I couldn't stay away from Jenna. Her guilt was a beacon, pulling me back. One night, she sat alone in her kitchen, a bottle of wine half empty. She dialed my number again, her voice breaking on the voicemail. "Tess, I know you're gone. I know it's my fault. I told Zach about Kyle, about his crush on you. I thought he'd just scare you, make you leave town. I didn't know he'd." She choked, sobbing. "I was jealous, okay? You were always smarter, braver. I wanted Finn. I wanted everything, but I didn't want you dead." I believed her. For the first time, I saw the real Jenna. Not the saint, not the villain, just a broken girl who'd let envy poison her. She hadn't pulled the trigger, but she'd loaded the gun. I focused, my energy surging, and the wine glass shattered. Jenna screamed, backing away. "Tess? Oh God, Tess, I'm sorry." Finn rushed in, eyes narrowing. "What's wrong with you?" Jenna pointed at the glass, trembling. "It's Tess. She's here. She knows." Finn's face went pale, but he forced a laugh. "You're losing it, Jen. Go to bed." But she didn't. She grabbed her keys and drove to Zach's apartment, banging on his door. "Tell me the truth," she demanded when he answered. "What did you do to Tess?" Zach's face hardened. "You're drunk. Go home." She pushed past him, voice rising. "I told you about Kyle because I was mad, but you used him. You and Finn, you set her up." Zach grabbed her arm, hissing. "Keep your voice down. You wanted her gone too, remember?" Jenna yanked free, tears streaming. "Not like this. Never like this." I watched, my ghost light flaring. They'd all played a part. Jenna's jealousy, Zach's lies, Finn's ambition, and Kyle, the weapon they'd aimed at me. I followed Jenna back to her house, where Finn was waiting, his burner phone in hand.
"You need to stop," he snapped.
"You're going to ruin everything." Jenna faced him, her voice steady for the first time. "I know what you did, Finn. You and Zach used Kyle to kill Tess. I'm going to the police." Finn's eyes darkened. "You won't. You're in too deep." She laughed, bitter. "Watch me." I didn't see what came next. My energy flickered, pulling me back to the cornfield. Kyle was there, digging, muttering about cleaning up. He unearthed my phone, its battery long dead, and smashed it with a rock. But I didn't need it anymore. I knew the truth. I focused, my ghost light blazing, and the ground shook. Kyle stumbled, cursing, as dirt erupted around him. He ran, but I followed, my rage a storm. I couldn't touch him, but I could haunt him, make him feel my pain. Back at the McMansion, Jenna was on the phone with the police, her voice shaking but firm. "My sister, Tessa Harper, she's missing. I think she's dead. And I know who did it." Finn lunged for the phone, but Jenna was faster, locking herself in the bathroom. I hovered, my energy surging, and the lights flickered, plunging the house into darkness. Finn cursed, tripping over furniture, but it was too late. Sirens wailed in the distance. The police found my body, guided by Jenna's tearful directions. Kyle was arrested, his ramblings about revenge and lies spilling out in interrogation. Zach and Finn were next, their burner phones and encrypted messages unraveling their plot. Jenna turned herself in, confessing her role in stirring Kyle's obsession, though she swore she never meant for murder. Mom and Dad collapsed under the news, their perfect family shattered. Mom sobbed, "I didn't know, but I saw the truth in her eyes. She'd always known I was disposable." Dad just stared at the wall, his iceberg heart cracked but not melted. I watched the trials from the shadows, my ghost form fading as justice took root. Kyle got life. Zach and Finn got 20 years each. Jenna took a plea, 5 years for conspiracy. She wrote me letters from prison, apologizing, promising to live better. I didn't know if I believed her, but I wanted to. As the courtroom emptied, I felt the pull again, stronger now. Grandma Lillian's farm called, the scent of ramps and eggs in the air. I drifted there, finding her ghost waiting, her smile warm as sunlight. "You're free, Tess," she said, taking my hand. I looked back at the world. Jenna's guilt, Mom's tears, the lies that had bound us all. I was done being their shadow, their scapegoat. I turned to Grandma, the only one who'd ever chosen me, and let go. The wind carried me away, my ghost light dissolving into starlight.